Hello, and welcome back to another coaching video. Today we are going to talk about laning phase. Have you ever had problems where you feel like your opponent is poking you out? Or maybe they just solo kill you, or you just feel stuck losing in lane every single time? Well, this video can help you understand why you might feel that way. In all honesty, not every game will feel good in the laning phase, and there is a big reason why. But before we start, 98% of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed, and I would greatly appreciate it if you just hit that button. It is completely free and you're coming back anyways, so why not hit it? Anyways, why won't every game feel like the laning phase is winnable? Well, it simply comes down to matchups and your champion's strength. Every single time you boot up into the game, no matter what lane you are in, you and the opponent will probably be playing different characters. This is what I mean when I say matchups. Matchup refers to the dynamic between two specific champions when they are pitted against each other in a lane. Every champion in the game has good and bad matchups. Figuring them out is really important to getting better at the laning phase and the whole game in general. Let's do a quick quiz to test how good you are at recognizing matchups. We will only be talking about the early game, so level 1 through 7, and only the laning phase. First, a top lane matchup, Yorick versus Aurelia. Who do you think will win this? This first one is a little tricky, but if you know how Aurelia works, her Q resets every time it kills a unit, and when Aurelia Qs one of Yorick's minions, it will always kill it, so Aurelia should win this matchup as Yorick won't have his minions to help him kill Aurelia. Alright, our second matchup is mid lane, Sylas versus Ahri. This one is a skill-based matchup, but Sylas should have the upper hand if he plays it right. Sylas is generally a good counter to Ahri, as Sylas will have the ability to steal Ahri's ult and match her dashes. Sylas has generally a better kit with this ult as well, and should win this matchup. Let's talk about one more matchup but for the ADCs, Sivir versus Tristana. Tristana, if you don't know, has a really oppressive early game, as her damage is fast and big for single targets. Sivir likes to scale and has a more damage spreading kit rather than single target, so generally she will be better off in late game teamfights, but early game she will lose to Tristana in lane every time. So to sum up my point, laning phases can be good or bad depending on your matchups, and if you are one-tricking a champion you should learn them, as that will tell you how you should play the lane, and what champion you might want to ban every single game, like banning Aurelia when playing Yorick. I, for example, ban Amumu every game as Bel'Veth, as high CC champions counter my kit really well, as if I can't auto, I am basically useless. But matchups aren't the end-all be-all when it comes down to the laning phase. It is still really important, but matchups aren't only about the champion's strengths and their weaknesses, but also the person who pilots them. Being a micro-god at any champion means that you can generally stomp most matchups if you play it right. But not everyone can be a micro-god like Faker, so what is an average player going to do to help them have an easier time in the laning phase? Let's talk about trading. Trading is any attempt to do damage to the opponent without necessarily trying to kill them, but get them low enough so we can kill them eventually. That's only the first part though. The second part is also doing an attempt, but doing it without taking a lot of damage back. There are also many variations of trading as well, with how long the trade is and how much range you or the opponent has. Short trades, long trades, short distance trades, medium distance trades, long distance trades, and super long distance trades. This also goes back a little bit to matchup, as many champions like doing a specific type of trade pattern. For example, Xerath is a super long distance short trader, as he has amazing range and usually uses all his spells and back off immediately until his spells are back up and do it all over again. Darius is a short distance long trader, as he really likes to chase people down, and the longer the trade, the better. This is because of his passive bleed stack and max bleed stack extra damage. This goes into also talking about range advantage as well, and if you would like more information about that, I highly recommend watching my beginner guide to mid lane to understand what that means. But any champion can do any specific type of trade, but most of them have a certain type they always stick to. Recognize what the enemy trade pattern is and how they can accomplish it. Also recognize how you would like to trade and how the opponent can stop you from accomplishing it. There is an easy way to spot when trading is a good idea, and there are other things that can make our trades better overall for our laning phase. How can we spot a trade opportunity? There are good and bad times when going for a trade. We talked about a little of this in my mid lane beginner guide video. Let's first talk about the good times to go for a trade. The first scenario is that the lane is even. There are the same amount of minions on each side of the lane. This type of lane state makes short trades and long distance trades better. The reason is because if we attack our lane opponent from a close distance, the minions will start attacking us. This makes two things happen. One, we are taking more damage in a trade because of the minions, and two, the minions are now attacking us rather than our minions, and it will start to push towards the enemy more. But instead, if we take a long distance trade, the minions will not attack us, making the trade better. Okay, yes, minions attacking us is bad, but when do we want to trade with our opponent? We are going to do something I like to call a free trade. It doesn't make sense for a trade to be free, but you can make a trade free in this game. When a minion on our side is about to die, the main focus for the enemy is that they want to kill it so they can get the gold. So let's punish them for trying to CS. Whenever your opponent is going for a last hit, you should try to get a short trade on them with either your abilities or autos. You might not be able to do this with every single minion in a wave, but the damage will start to stack up. Alright, cool, let's move on to the next good scenario. The second scenario is that we have more minions than the enemy. This type of lane state makes longer trades for any distance really good. The reason is because since we have more minions than our lane opponent, if they try to trade with us, they will take more minion damage. This trade will almost always go in your favor, and is a good reason why getting wave control can help you with your trading. The third scenario is when the opponent just used their ability. Since the opponent used their abilities to either push the wave or try to damage you, they need to wait for a pretty long time before those abilities come back up. So it means that if we trade with them, their abilities won't be up, so they can't match our damage. Those are the three most common scenarios when it comes down to a good time and place to do a trade. Let's talk about some bad times to go for a trade. The first bad scenario is the reverse of the second good scenario. If the opponent has more minions than us, if we go for a trade, we will most likely lose it because we will take more minion damage. Alright, simple enough. Don't try to trade during this time and play safe and CS the best we can until the wave crashes. The second bad scenario is the reverse of the third good scenario. This is a prime time for the opponent to punish our cooldowns, and again, since we don't have abilities, if they use their abilities on us, we won't be able to match their damage. You can see how the good scenarios can easily be flipped on you depending on the wave state and also your ability cooldowns. So position wisely when you are put into these circumstances so you don't get punished. We are not done with trading though. There's one other tip that is important to know. If we want to use our abilities for a trade, try to hit the opponent and the wave at the same time. This will accomplish two things. One, the opponent will take damage from your ability, and two, the wave gets hit by your ability, making it push towards the enemy and helping you gain wave control, which can force bad trades from the enemy later on. This is a super helpful tip to remember as it can make the laning phase way easier. And that is all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I am also still doing free VOD review coaching, and if you would like one, please go into the description of this video and add me on Discord so we can get one started. I hope this video can help you have a better time in your laning phases, and if you would like, comment on anything that I might have missed about trading. Anyways, good luck on climbing, and see you in the next coaching video.